my channel. For those who are new here, hello, my name is Dorotea and today I'm going to show you how to crochet a sweater. As always, you can find written instructions for this sweater on my blog and a PDF pattern with additional sizes in my pattern shops on Etsy, Ravelry and Love Crochet. With all this said, let me show you what you will need for this tutorial. You are going to need some chunky weight yarn. I finished 5 skeins of beige and 1.5 of a skein of red yarn for this project. I will be working on a size medium. If you want to use the same yarn as I did here, then you can find the link in the description box down below, as well as the link to the yarn that can be a good replacement for the yarn I'm using here, especially if you don't like yarn that is shedding or peeling. In addition to that, you are going to need 6.0mm crochet hook for the main part and 5.0mm crochet hook for the ribbings. Then you're going to need 2 stitch markers. I will be using the ones that are in the shape of a ring. Those are super easy to attach and take off, but they might fall off the stitch on their own too, especially if you're using very thin yarn. Since we are going to use very thick yarn today, this won't be a case. Also, you're going to need a tapestry needle and scissors, and that is going to be more or less everything you will need for this project. One important thing before we start, I'm going to show you all the steps that you have to know to create this sweater from start to finish. We are going to use very simple stitches, so chains and half double crochet stitches for the entire sweater. We will spice up the pattern with 2 very common crochet techniques, which are switching the yarn and working into back loops only, and that is going to be it. You are going to need written instructions to complete this project. You can find the pattern for size medium on my blog, and that one is free, and you can find the written instructions for sizes small and large in the PDF pattern, which is available in my pattern shop. I know that reading a pattern seems very intimidating for many of you and that you prefer watching a video and following that, but sometimes getting everything on the tape is just a little bit too much. No one wants to watch a couple of hours long video tutorial. I really want to be respectful of your time and of my time as well. And I want to challenge you and to teach you something new with every video I post. And you know what? Big projects like this one, when you repeat the same stitch over and over again, and when pattern asks for minimal shaping, is just perfect to learn how to read a crochet pattern and work on your gauge. So I challenge you to be brave and try it out. We are going to start with the front panel. That is the part with the big red heart. I'm going to show you how to create a foundation chain, half double crochet stitches, and how to switch the yarn color, which is also good to know anytime you have to start with a new skein of yarn, so we are going to go through that too. You are going to need beige yarn first and your 6.0mm crochet hook. Let's start with a foundation chain made of number of chains written in the pattern. I'm going to use a pattern for the medium size, therefore I will chain 57. But because I am going to show you how to do everything on a little sample, I'm going to create a smaller foundation chain. When you have that, create one additional chain to lift the row. And we are going to do that at the beginning of every row you make on this sweater. We are going to start in the second chain from the hook, and we are going to yarn over first and then insert the crochet hook into the back bump of the chain. So that is the part with 1 loop on the back of the chain. Now yarn over and pull the loop through. You have 3 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over again and pull the yarn through all the loops on your crochet hook. And your first half double crochet stitch is now complete. Now work 1 half double crochet stitch into each chain all the way across. Don't forget, we are working into back bumps only. When you have that, chain 1 and turn your work. The next couple of rows are exactly the same as row 1, so you will have to work 1 half double crochet stitch into each stitch from the row below. Now make sure you're not adding or skipping any of the stitches. And make sure you end each row with the same amount of half double crochet stitches, that is 57 in my case, but if you're not working on the medium size, please check the written instructions. I'm going to finish this row of half double crochet stitches made with beige yarn now, and I'm going to show you how to switch the yarn color in the next row. You can pause the video here, jump over to my blog to check the written instruction, complete all the rows you have to make and meet me back when you are done, and I will show you what to do next. As I've mentioned before, I'm not going to make the whole front panel of the sweater here. I'm going to show you everything you have to know on this little sample. For me, this is row 3, and for you, row 5 if you're working on the size small, row 7 if you're working on size medium, and row 9 if you're working on size large. For everything else, please check the written instructions on my blog or PDF pattern. In this row, I'm going to show you how to switch the yarn. This side of the panel that is now facing up is going to be our front side of the sweater, and the other one is going to be hidden inside the sweater. And all the yarn tails has to be on the same side, so the side that is going to be hidden inside the sweater. Chain 1 and turn the row. Work 1 half double crochet stitch into each of next 28 or as many stitches written in the pattern for the size you're working on. One stitch left, and before you finish that last stitch, switch the yarn. So yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over again, and when you have that 3 loops on your hook, grab the beige yarn on the back with your finger. Then take the red yarn, create a simple loop, and pull that loop with your crochet hook through all 3 loops on your hook. Make sure all the yarn tails are on the same side of the fabric. Pull the tail a little bit to even out the stitch and then continue with the red yarn. So even though we joined the red yarn in the middle of the stitch, you can see that our last stitch is actually entirely made with beige yarn. And you will see that the next one will be made with red yarn. And you can use the same technique for when you finish the skein and you need to start with a new one. Simple as that. Use the red yarn and create 1 half double crochet into each of next 2 stitches, but before you finish the second one, switch the yarn back to beige. For now that yarn changes are close together, you can carry the yarn from one stitch to another. Just make sure you don't pull the yarn too much and you will be fine. In case the yarn switches are further away to each other, just cut the yarn and reattach it when you need it again. Work 1 half double crochet into each of next 28 stitches or as many stitches written in the pattern. This is now the front side of the sweater, and the other side with a bunch of yarn ends is the back side of the sweater. Now I'm going to show you one more row and then you're going to pause the video and follow the written instructions for the rest. Don't worry, you've got this. It's super easy, just follow the stitch count. Chain 1 and turn your work. Work 1 half double crochet into each of next 26 stitches or as many stitches written in the pattern. Before you finish that 26th stitch, switch the yarn to red again. Make sure all the yarn tails are still on the same side. Now some stitches might be hidden behind all those yarn ends, so make sure you find and use all the stitches. Switch the color back to beige again and work 1 half double crochet into each of next 26 stitches or as many stitches written in the pattern for the size you are currently working on. Pause the video here, continue with the pattern and come back when you reach the part where you have to make the straps. So this is the front panel, it's almost complete. This is the back side of the fabric, the one that is going to be in the inner side of the sweater. And this is the nicer side, so the side that is going to be facing out, the one that you will be able to see once the sweater is complete. The straps are made in rows, which means you will turn after each row and start your new row with chain 1. Let's do that first. Then make 1 half double crochet into each of the next 18 stitches or as many stitches written in the pattern you follow. When you have that, join last 4 stitches, 2 and 2 stitches together with half double crochet 2 together stitch. Let me show you how to do that. Yarn over first, insert the hook into the first one, yarn over again and pull the yarn through, insert the hook into the next one, yarn over and pull the loop through. Now you have 4 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over again and pull the loop through all the loops on your hook. And that is your first half double crochet 2 together stitch. Now create one more and the first row is now finished. Let's start with row 2, chain 1 and turn your work. Join first 4 stitches, 2 and 2 together with half double crochet 2 together stitch. Place the stitch marker into the first one. Now work 1 half double crochet into each of next 16 stitches. Row 3, chain 1 and turn your work. work 1 half double crochet into each of next 16 stitches. Two stitches left, join those two with a half double two together stitch. Row 4 and 5 are exactly the same, and those two rows have the same stitch count, so start with chain 1 to lift the row, then turn your work and work 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way across. When you complete all the rows, cut the yarn and fasten off. After you finished your first strap, skip 13 stitches on the collar and start working on the left strap. The pattern for the last strap is exactly the same as for the right strap, just in a reverse order, so the mirror shape of what we've done with our first strap. This means you will start your first row with 2 half double crochet 2 together stitches and end the row with half double crochet stitches. You can pause the video here and meet me back when you complete the second strap, and I will show you how to do the back panel. So the back panel is pretty simple. You are going to need some beige yarn and 6.0mm crochet hook. We are going to start with a foundation chain made of 58 chains, or as many chains as written in the pattern you follow. I'm not going to make the whole foundation chain, just a sample as I did with the front panel. When you have that, start in the second chain from the hook, again work into back bumps only, and work 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way across, so 1 half double crochet into each of next 57 stitches. Now, when you finish that, chain 1 and turn the row, and repeat this row 41 more times, or as many times as written in the pattern. Pause the video here and come back when you complete all the rows, and I will show you how to create the straps. This is how your back panel should look like now that you've completed all the rows. I've accidentally cut the yarn after my last stitch in my last row. That's why I'm going to attach the yarn again, but you can just go ahead and continue with the same strand of yarn. Start with chain 1, then turn your work. The straps here on the back are pretty simple. All you have to do is to work 1 half double crochet into each of next 17 stitches. Then you will cut the yarn and fasten off. After that, skip 23 stitches and attach the yarn in the 24th one with chain 1 and start in the same and work 1/2 double crochet into last 17 stitches. You can also count 17 stitches in from the other side, so from the left side in. Start in the 17th stitch from the left and work 1/2 double crochet into each stitch all the way across, so 17 stitches in total. Then cut the yarn, fasten off, and that's it. Now let's join front and back panel together. Its strap ends with the same amount of stitches, and that is 17 stitches. Place the front panel on the top of the back panel. Make sure the right sides are turned in. Take a small amount of beige yarn and a tapestry needle and join the straps together with a few simple sewing stitches. As always, I'm going to use a blanket stitch, but you can use any stitch you like, just make sure the stitches are nice and even. In the next step, we are going to create the sleeves. The pattern for the left and the right sleeve is exactly the same. I'm going to show you how to start one sleeve, and then you're going to hop over to my blog or take the PDF pattern and continue by yourself. You will see it's super easy. The sleeves are made with beige yarn and 6mm crochet hook. We will start off by creating a foundation chain made of 52 chains. Then we are going to start in the second chain from the hook and create 1/2 double crochet into each of next 51 chains. Chain 1 and turn your work. Repeat row 1 one more time. So work 1 half double crochet into each of next 51 stitches. This is what we have so far. The next row has 2 decreases, one at the beginning and one at the end of the row. We are going to start with chain 1, then we are going to turn the work. Now join first 2 stitches with a half double 2 together stitch. We've already learned the stitch when we were working on the collar, so you are already familiar with the half double 2 together stitch, which is great. Work 1 half double crochet into each of next 47 stitches. Join the last 2 with a half double 2 together stitch. Now you can pause the video here, check the written instructions and finish the next 25 rows or as many rows as written in the pattern. What you will have to do is to repeat those rows, so row of regular half double crochet stitches and a row with 2 decreases, one at the beginning and one at the end of the row, so the rows that you've just learned in a specific order. Pause the video here and come back when you complete both sleeves and I will show you how to attach those to the main part. Alright, now we are going to attach the sleeves to the main part of the sweater. I have already attached one sleeve so you can see how it is going to look like. Please check if the sweater is turned wrong side out before you start attaching the sleeves. You don't want for the seam to be seen when you complete the sleeve. Okay, we are going to attach the sleeve to the sweater with its wider side. Take one stitch marker, fold the sleeve in half, and attach the marker to the stitch right in the fold on the wider side of the sleeve. Now line up the stitch marked with a stitch marker with the seam that is joining the front and back panel. Take the tapestry needle and a small amount of yarn in a beige color and attach the sleeve to the sweater. Now I'm going to show you how to make the ribbings. All of them are made the same way and that is by working into back loops only. We are going to make 5 pieces of ribbing, 2 for the around the waist area, 2 for the sleeves, for each sleeve 1, and a ribbing that will go around the neck area. Now, if you're working on the ribbing that will go around the neck area, start with chain 7. And if you're planning to make a ribbing for the sleeves or the waist, then you have to start with chain 11. When you complete all the chains, turn your work, skip the first chain and start in the second one. Work into back bumps only and create 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way down to the end of the chain. From now on, work into back loops only. So if you look at your stitches from the top down, you will see that they are in shape of a letter V. Each half of the letter V represents a loop. The loop that is further away from you is called back loop, and the one that is closer to you is called front loop. Now for the purpose of this tutorial, we are going to use back loops only, and the front loops are going to stay undone. We are going to start each row with chain 1 to lift the row to a proper height. Then we are going to turn the fabric and start crocheting. We are going to work 1/2 double crochet into each stitch all the way down to the end of the row. And as you can see here, the fabric is already getting its shape. Now I'm going to add 2 more rows of half double crochet stitches made into back loops only, just so you will be able to see that it's really starting to look like a real ribbing. And now you can see that it really looks like a proper ribbing. The fabric has its stretchiness and ribbed look. All you have to do now is to repeat those rows of half double crochet stitches made into back loops only a couple of more times. If you start from here, so with 4 complete rows, then you have to add 16 more rows for the sleeves, 53 more rows for the ribbing that will go around the waist area, and 50 more rows for the ribbing around the neck. You will need 2 pieces of ribbing for the sleeves, 2 for the bottom of the sweater, and 1 piece of the ribbing for the collar. Complete all the ribbings, come back, and I will show you how to join all the pieces together. We are going to start with the sleeves, and we are going to attach 1 ribbing to each sleeve. Take a small amount of beige yarn and a tapestry needle, stretch the ribbing along the end of the sleeve and attach the ribbing to the sleeve with a few simple sewing stitches. You can use stitch markers or sewing pins and attach the ribbing to the sweater before you start with the sewing, just to make sure the ribbing is evenly stretched across the area where you want to attach it and wouldn't move during the sewing. Again, always make sure you are sewing on the inner side of the sweater. You don't want for the seam to be seen when you turn your sweater nicer side out. When you complete that, so when all 4 ribbings are attached to the sweater, join the ribbings with a small amount of red yarn and join the rest of the sweater with beige yarn. The next step is to attach the collar. First off, join both ends of the ribbing together. Then stretch the ribbing evenly around the neck area. You can use stitch markers or sewing pins to secure the ribbing to the main piece. Then take a small amount of beige yarn and attach the ribbing to the sweater. And here you have it, a beautiful crochet sweater. I just love how it came out. The heart on the front has a perfect shape. I love the contrast between beige and red color, and the sweater is super soft, cozy and very comfortable to wear. I think even though the winter is coming to an end, at least where I live, I'm pretty sure I'm going to wear it a couple of more times and it will definitely stay in my closet for the next season. Okay guys, that would be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned something new today. Please share the link to the tutorial with your friends that might benefit from it. Every like, share, subscribe and pattern purchase means everything. You can support my work by buying my crochet patterns, and if you decide to do that, thank you so much. It really means a lot, and please know that all of this is possible because of amazing people like you. Every like, share, subscribe and pattern purchase means everything. Have an amazing day and I see you guys very soon. Bye!